All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and as you can see, I am not home right now, man. We on the bye week, but I'm still putting out this content, man. I got to. And I was working on the mock draft, and I have a lot of my notes. I have the players that I'm going to draft and everything ready, but then this breaking news came out, so I will put out the mock draft either late tonight or sometime tomorrow. In this video, we're here to talk about how the Washington Commanders finally got rid of a big problem, and they went ahead and signed a replacement as well. We're going to dive into all of that. Plus, there's a whole analytical breakdown as to what the Commanders' chances are of potentially getting a top 5 pick. I mean, they break it all the way down to our chances of ending up with the number 1 pick, a top 5 pick, or a top 10 pick at all. Of course, we're going to look at what pick we currently have, what some of our biggest needs are. I want to also look at some of the best players available in this draft, because it's safe to say we're going to be picking somewhere in the top 10. What are some names early on that we should probably be targeting? So the first half of the video, we got to handle some business, talk about some 2025 Commanders. Second half of the video, it's going to be a lot of fun, draft talk. Adam. All right, so again, the Washington Commanders finally got rid of a big problem that we were having all this season. It even dates back to last season. Honestly, for real, burgundy and gold wise, it dates back many years. Ian Rappaport came out at 3:26 p.m. that the Commanders have released kicker Matt Gay, who missed 2 field goals on Sunday, of course, in that loss versus the Miami Dolphins. That game went into overtime and all of that type of stuff. You win if Matt Gay is not your kicker and you have, I guess, somehow a better kicker, but I don't feel like it's that hard to find a kicker much better than Matt Gay. Of course, you know, draft-wise, most people didn't want to win that game in the first place, but just in case, like, if you wanted to win that game, you need to make sure you have a kicker for when you do try to for real win games, and everybody is on the same page. We need to be winning right now. You need to have the right kicker that can make the kicks when you need them. Shouts out to Ethan Cadeau. He said Matt Gay has been released per the Commanders. A move had to happen after yesterday and his season-long performance as a whole, honestly, bro. It wasn't just yesterday. It was kind of like a buildup of everything that's been going on throughout this season. I'm honestly surprised it didn't happen sooner. That's me, though. But I guess they felt like after missing 2 kicks against the Dolphins, especially, again, with the way that that game ended, to where because of those missed kicks, you go into overtime and end up losing. If he makes his kicks, you don't go into overtime. But either way, shouts out to Eric Sully over there at Commanders Run. He brings up a great point as well. He said it's a problem that they had to wait until the inevitability of him blowing a game before making a change. It was clear as day after week 2 that the guy couldn't do it. And that's a great point right there. It does feel like they had to wait for an exact moment where, like, Matt Gay's kicking problems directly led to an L. Like, where it's obvious, you know what I'm saying? Instead of him just missing 1 kick or maybe a couple of kicks, but we lost by 20 points, people are going to be like, but that was inconsequential. He's a bad kicker, but he's not at the top of the list as the reasons why we lost that game. With the Dolphins, again, because he's missing kicks, you end up in overtime, you end up losing in overtime. So you can directly point at Matt Gay like, man, if you at least made 1 more kick out of the 2 that you missed, we win. So the Commanders probably were just waiting for the perfect opportunity to be like, well, this game was completely on him. Now we have a perfectly good reason to move on from him. Because again, mind you, he's been missing kicks a lot this year. In general, it's just been in games where we didn't really have much of a chance of winning anyway. But you can kind of go back to that Bears game. Even though Jaden Daniels fumbled it away, I believe Matt Gay may have missed a kick or 2 in that game as well. So either way, though, shouts out to Felix Trammell over there. He brings up a great point as well. He said, landed to the Matt Gay news. A lot of people were flying back from Spain and then landed, and then, you know, you turn your internet back on. You go off of airplane mode, and you're seeing Matt Gay has been cut news. He said it had been coming, too much for the inconsistency and missing the ones that should be money. The 58-yarder is one thing, but the 44-yarder should be a lock. Give them 2 weeks to find a new one. Crazy enough, they already have a replacement. We're going to get there. But first up, we just got to talk about Matt Gay some more, man. Shouts out to Commanders Wire, Brian Manning over there for breaking it down. Matt Gay missed kicks of 51 and 56 yards against the Dolphins. So it was actually a 51 and a 56-yarder. Either way, with the way that the NFL is currently set up right now, a 51-yarder should almost be a chip shot. He said the 56-yarder would have won the game and avoided overtime, and Gay pushed both kicks to the right, which has been a regular occurrence for him this season. He kicks everything to the right. It's like, okay, how about you just try kicking a little bit to the left, bro? For the year, Gabe made 13 of 19 field goals with a long of 56, and he made all 22 of his point after attempts. So when it came to PATs, perfect. Other than that, bro, you're on the edge of your seat, heart beating, heart racing, not knowing what's going to happen when Matt Gay goes back there to kick a field goal. The Commanders signed Gay, 31 years old, in March to a one-year deal worth a fully guaranteed $4.25 million. I don't think y'all understand how ridiculous that is, because on top of that, he had the potential to earn more through incentives. Of course, he's not going to reach those incentives. Even if we didn't cut him, he wasn't going to reach them because he keeps missing. But it was also the most guaranteed money ever for a kicker on a one-year deal. A former Pro Bowler in 2021 with the Rams spent the last 2 seasons with the Colts before he was released in the offseason. Yes, you heard me right. Matt Gay was a former Pro Bowler. He just fell off. But I guess it worked with the Rams because I do believe they play inside, and he kicks better inside when there's no weather conditions to worry about, when there's no wind, no heat, no cold. Matt Gay does kick better. But most teams in the NFL still play outside. If you can't kick outside, you can't kick, at least for the Commanders. Hopefully for nobody in the NFL. Honestly, you got to figure that out, bro. So the weather conditions shouldn't have to be perfect for you to be able to make kicks. And that's why Matt Gay is gone. And again, honestly, I'm just shocked that they actually did it. You know what I'm saying? And not because he's too good to cut or anything like that. I'm more so shocked because I felt like if you didn't cut him weeks ago, they never were. You know what I'm saying? I just already accepted that throughout this year, we're going to finish the year with Matt Gay as our kicker, and we'll figure something out in the offseason. I mean, like, what honestly changed? Again, like we talked about, maybe it was the fact that you can directly blame him for what happened in that Dolphins game, but still, I just feel like he's been bad all year. And again, we're in a league right now where 52-yarders are almost automatic for most kickers, if not all of them, bro. I feel like we have the only kicker that we're like 52-yarder. Yeah, man, we might as well just go ahead and go for that on fourth down. I don't care if it's 4 and 7. We might want to go ahead and go for it. Because what are the chances of Matt Gay making a 52-yarder? You know what I'm saying? And you even have the Cowboys where their kicker makes 60-plus yarders on a regular basis. That's where my goal is. Or how about the Jaguars kicker Cam Little, who broke an NFL record with a 68-yarder a few weeks ago this season? I mean, kickers are getting better and better just overall around the league-wide. And we're just basically the only team over here really struggling. You know, some teams are struggling with kicker, but it's because most of them is their starting kicker is hurt or something like that. We're the only one where we don't have an answer with the starter, backup, practice squad, anybody available. We are just kickerless right now. Again, we signed a guy. We're going to talk about him later. But also, shouts out to Chris Russell. He brings up a great point. He said the Commanders have had a little bit of luck with Austin Seibert last year until he got hurt. And then a few times with Zane Gonzalez, but by and large, no position has been more of a debacle in the AP Dan Quinn era than kicker. And I feel like that's honestly a great point. I think they have messed up this kicker situation more than anything else they've messed up. But at the same time, you can't, it's not from a lack of trying. It's from a lack of finding solutions, but it's not from a lack of caring and trying. They've tried a lot. Finishing up with Chris Russell, he said they also refused to bring in 2 when at 90-man except one time. Yeah, and I think that is malpractice. You should have 2 kickers on this roster at all times until we get to the 53-man roster going into the regular season. All training camp, all OTAs and things like that, you need to have a kicker competition going the entire offseason. I completely agree with that. But again, outside of that, it's not from a lack of trying, bro. I mean, we are now moving on from our 8th kicker since Dan Quinn became our head coach and Adam Peters became our general manager. Don't forget Brandon McManus. Then we have Ramiz Ahmed. Then we had Riley Patterson. Then we had Kay York. Then we had Austin Seibert. Then we had Zane Gonzalez. Then we had Matt Gay. And now we're about to go to our 8th kicker since last year of August or about June or whatever it was. I think we signed Brandon McManus like Wednesday, but I forgot what month all of that allegations appeared. He ended up leaving and stuff like that. You got to remember, he was supposed to be our starter going into 2024. He was supposed to be your franchise kicker, but we ended up releasing him before the 2024 season because of off-field legal matters and things like that. They ended up getting cleared from it, and then I think he's been kicking pretty well for the Packers. I believe he's on the Packers right now. So we really just got hated on. We ended up with bad luck on our kicker situation, honestly, and they've been scrambling since to try to find answers, and it hasn't been enough. I mean, between the 6 kickers for the Commanders in 28 games, how they've kicked, all field goals combined, 77%, 47 of 61. That's 30th in the NFL. 50-plus field goals, they're at 35.3%. That's 6 of 17. That's dead last, 32nd in the NFL. 40 to 49 yarders, 90%, 18 of 20. That's actually tied for 5th. So that 40 to 49, we've been pretty straight. Extra points wise, 97.1%, 68 of 70. That's 12th in the NFL. But anything with some distance to it, 50 plus, we're cooked. That's where all of the bad happens with our kicker situation this past year and a half. And then shouts out to George Carmi, because speaking of people that landed and found out the news as soon as they got back from Madrid, George Carmi tweeted, just landed at Dulles Airport from Madrid. Passengers are shutting off airplane mode and getting service, and audible, loud, thank God, is shared out loud in response to seeing Matt Gay being cut. So a lot of people on the plane were coming back from Spain to the DMV area, and a lot of those people are of course Commanders fans, and then everybody's getting the notifications at the same time. It had to be a pretty cool experience, everybody being like, wow, like thank goodness, man, we can finally move on and at least attempt to find a better kicker. Don't just accept the mediocrity that we had with Matt Gay. I mean, shouts out to him, great guy, but we had to move on. And shouts out to Eddie, my boy Ed Oliver over there, Eddie Del Negro, Ed Too Flat. He said, might as well go ahead and sign Justin Tucker. Well, that now brings me to a great point, because that's a debate whether we should even consider Justin Tucker, but at least at this point, we know we will not, because we went ahead and signed another guy that's not Justin Tucker to replace Matt Gay. But before we get there, what's happening, y'all, man? Shouts out to Sleeper. With them, you have a chance to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. I know this season has gone to whatever you want to call it, whatever word you want to use for it, disarray, or you can use some more, colorful language or whatever. But, hey, man, I keep telling y'all, man, cherish this football, because we get to March, we get to June, and we're like, man, I'll do anything just to get some Commanders football, bro. So I know it's ugly, but first of all, and we're going to talk about this very soon, we have a lot of young guys to really root for and watch and like really scout to see who wants to be a part of this 2026 rebuilding season, this revenge tour we're about to go back on next year. So guys like Bill, or even Deebo Samuel, are we going to bring him back? I'm talking about, can Ben Sinnott, once he gets back healthy, can he start to get more involved in the offense and things like that? You can pick on stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times your payout on Sleeper. And right now, new users can even get a free $20 without a deposit like you see on the screen, on top of the already 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. Just use promo code SCORE, that's SCORE, or you can just click the link at the top of the description of this video and every video on live stream I'm doing all season. Again, shouts out to Sleeper, man. With them, you have a chance to 1,000 times your payout. NBA is in full swing. You can play fantasy with them. MLB will come back eventually. You have NHL, you have college basketball, you have college women's basketball, all of that stuff, man. WNBA when it comes back. So shouts out to Sleeper. And let's go ahead and get back into this video, man. And so the Commanders found a replacement kicker now that Matt Gay is gone. He goes by the name Jake Moody. The Commanders are signing Jake Moody off the Bears practice squad per source. Of course, you hear practice squad, you're like, well, if he's so good and we want him, but he's on another team's practice squad, like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he's just not that good. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, he's better than what Matt Gay has given us. I mean, mind you, I don't know if y'all remember, but this same Jake Moody hit a game-winning field goal against us when we played the Bears earlier this year. So now he beat us with the Bears, and now he's joining the Commanders after leading the Bears to win. So maybe, that's like a long-term finesse. Like, I'm going to beat the Commanders, while I'm on the Bears, and then I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to kick well. They're going to keep me going into 2026 because I helped them lose against the Bears. Now we're going to get a high draft pick. I'm going to be on a better team. We're going to go win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? You just never know what type of mind games somebody like Jake Moody could be playing right now. But, of course, that's all my imagination. But either way, he went 8 of 9 on field goals and 3 of 3 on PATs for Chicago this season because he's only played in games when their starting kicker is hurt. Just like when we played the Bears, the starting kicker was hurt. Going into that game, they elevated him from the practice squad. Again, he made a game winner. He made whatever kicks he had to. Again, he's only missed 1 kick all season. He's only attempted 9, but he's only missed 1. Now, the funny thing is that Deebo Samuel and Jake Moody are now becoming teammates again. They're reuniting from their days back with the 49ers, bro, because Deebo Samuel grabbed the neck of Tabor Pepper that one time and then swiped Jake Moody on the helmet, one time after they missed the 3rd field goal. I don't know if y'all remember that, but the 49ers, Jake Moody specifically, missed 3 field goals, and then Deebo Samuel literally went over there to almost kind of fight them. He swiped at them. It was a really weird altercation. It was crazy. So I just thought it was interesting that, that he's going to be on the same team as Deebo Samuel again. But shouts out to Rio Robinson because he brings up a great point. He said Moody stinks too, by the way, but hey, we needed someone. And again, the fact that Deebo Samuel was willing to crash out on Jake Moody because he was so bad, Jake Booty over there with the 49ers. But hope, man, again, with what he's done with the Bears this season, maybe he's turned a new leaf. We'll see. I mean, the whole point is, let's just go ahead and bring him in and at least try something different. I mean, they're probably still going to go ahead and draft the kicker, or at the very least, bring in a young rookie undrafted free agent, like a few teams did last draft. I was shocked when we didn't bring in any undrafted free agent kickers this past offseason. I was super shocked. But at least we are trying out kickers this season, which makes me at least a little happy. I mean, because you never know. I highly doubt it. But what if Jake Moody turns out to be a franchise kicker? Maybe after Deebo Samuel slapped him on the helmet across the face and then was choking out his long snapper, maybe something clicked. He's like, if I want to avoid getting whooped up on, maybe I need to start making my kicks. And ever since he went to the Bears this season, 8 of 9, maybe he became a better kicker out of fear. You just never know. And even if he doesn't turn out to be a franchise kicker, what if we just keep rotating in new kickers and giving them opportunities as we finish out this year? Which goes to my theme I've been screaming about since this season started to go downhill. 1, we've been sorry anyway, mostly because of injuries, but still, we have been bad for 6 straight weeks. So try everything. If what you're doing right now is not working, just try something new. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So even if the other option isn't very logical, even if the other option doesn't necessarily even seem like it will work, just try it, because what you're doing right now is not working anyway. That goes double for this kicker situation. I mean, y'all saw how Dan Quinn taking over play calling duties for the defense helped out a lot against the Dolphins. That's the least amount of points we've allowed in, I don't even know. I'm going to have to go look at the schedule. I'm pretty sure it's been a long time, at the very least since this losing streak we've been on. And then 2, the main thing I want the Commanders to accomplish by the end of this season is to please use their time wisely, bro. Injuries have killed our season. So accept that the fact that it's time to experiment, bro. You're not going to be able to piece this together with some crazy late season run. At least I highly doubt it. Highly improbable. I mean, Jaden's not even healthy right now. They're hoping that maybe he comes back and he's healthy after this bye week to return against the Denver Broncos, Sunday Night Football, my birthday, November 30th. Again, trying to get the 30K by my birthday, November 30th. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do that. But either way, bro, injuries killed our season. Accept that fact, and it's time to experiment now. So stop playing the older veterans so much. You can play them, don't just completely disrespect Bobby Wagner and those guys by just completely benching them. But you need to rotate the younger guys, the inexperienced guys in way more often. Because how do they become experienced? By playing. I want the young guys like Jordan McGee, Traylon Burks when he gets back healthy, Kane Madrano, Tyler Owens, Ben Simmons. I want those guys getting teach tape for themselves going into the offseason so that they can have tape to review and learn from of themselves going into this offseason. I mean, how much can Kane Madrano learn by solely watching all 22 of Bobby Wagner all this upcoming offseason, watching Bobby Wagner 2025 tape, man? They need to go out there and make their own mistakes. The sooner they make mistakes, the sooner they'll figure out how to make those mistakes less often. Yes, mistakes will be made, but over time, they'll learn to make more plays than they make mistakes. They're going to make some mistakes on the way to making plays, and again, over time, there will be more plays made than mistakes made. I mean, they have the youth and the speed. You know, that's something you can't teach, that you can develop, and you can teach them the nuances of the game and things like that. That comes with time, coaching, development, and stuff like that. But like Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz, those guys can't gain youth or speed. The younger guys with the youth and speed can gain experience and nuance. These older guys, they're over with. They're never going to be what they used to be. And then also 3, I don't want question marks going into this offseason, y'all. Like, one of the main reasons I'm like, it's time to experiment, because I know half a year isn't really enough time to cast judgments over, especially these younger guys. But dog, I at least want to have somewhat of a better idea if a guy like Ben Sinnott has any potential to him at all. Like, I want to know at least some sort of an idea, some range of, should we target a tight end on day 3 because we don't really need one that bad because Ben Sinnott is showing signs of potentially being a good starting tight end? Or are we talking about day 1 or 2? Like, that's what I'm talking about. I don't need a definitive answer. It's hard to completely cast judgment on a young player after only 2 seasons in the NFL career. But I need at least a better idea. We won't have a definitive idea, but at least I need to get closer to somewhat of an idea of, is Ben Sinnott a guy or not? So I want to give a lot of these young guys as many reps, as much time as possible, so that can we go into the offseason with a better idea of our priorities, of like, which position do we actually need the most? Should tight end be higher? Should tight end be lower on the priority list? How about edge rush? How about receiver and things like that? You just never know. So, a kicker is no different. If Moody goes out there and misses kicks, then quickly bring in another guy to go out there and see what he's made of, because all of these kickers look good in practice, bro. That's why they stick around for so long. They're out there making every kick in practice. So we need to give these random kickers as many live game opportunities on Sundays as possible to see who can really kick or not. Because again, everybody kicks well in practice, it seems like. Once we get into these games, the lights get too bright. They get nervous. I don't know what it is. Can we please just rotate kickers in and out? If Jake Moody doesn't work out, I think he deserves 2 games max. Or if he just goes out there in this first game and just misses a bunch, go ahead and get another one in immediately, bro. We need to be having kicker trials going into the end of the season, because, I mean, you just never know. Maybe you strike gold at kicker going into next year, and that's just one less thing you have to worry about. But out of the way, before we move on to the draft and fun stuff,
man, shouts out to Brunt Workwear, man. They rocking with the kid, and y'all should rock with them, man. That's love for love. And even beyond that, these shoes are tough, man. Extra comfortable, very customizable. Like, for example, for these Marin boots that I literally have right here, even just beyond the many designs that they have, and of course, like shoe size and gender, you can even choose like one boot height. You can choose the type of shoe, like soft shoe, brunt toe, or comp toe. Or do you want them waterproof or not? Do you want the construction, the cemented, the welted? Or how about USA welted? Or what about the heel? You want a wedge or a 90 degree? Or even just for my flat foot people out there, or my wide foot people, whatever you are, you can even choose your boot width with the 2 options of regular or wide. These are no doubt the most comfortable work boots I've ever worn, and they felt comfortable right out of the box. But I'm telling you, literally right out of the box, you good to go. No long painful break-in like all of those other brands. Usually when you're getting boots, you're sacrificing comfort for durability, but Brunt Workwear makes boots that give you the best of both worlds. And they're not just comfortable, they're built to perform. If you're looking for the perfect boot, Brunt Workwear has you covered. It's like asking the chef to make your favorite meal. And when you scroll down after customizing your perfect boot, they have loads and loads of background information and details for each shoe. And also, how about the fact that it's the holiday season? If you have a hard-working man in your life, Brunt boots, or if you are the hard-working man, you know what I'm saying? Brunt boots and apparel make great gifts that'll keep that man comfortable all day on the job. Plus, Brunt is dropping brand new limited edition styles all month long. These styles will sell out quickly, so make sure to check back in all month to grab yourself a style or color that won't be around for long. And even the guarantees are elite. Like, they have free shipping and exchanges. You can even try risk-free on the job. And we shouldn't even have to get to that point. because these Marin boots that I got had around like 8,000 reviews before I even bought them. So I already knew that I was getting something really good before I even paid for them. And those reviews were on point too, man. I love my boots. I'm telling you, you will too. And as a matter of fact, I'm about to get another pair for real. I've been talking about it, but I really should go ahead and get a black pair. Starting to get cold, man. Try to complete some of the fits that I'm trying to put together and stuff like that. And you could tell that Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up, so they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use SCORE at checkout. Of course, that's SCORE. Just head to bruntworkwear.com, use the code SCORE, and you're good to go, man. And after you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt and all of that. Please go ahead and do your boy a favor and tell them that StreetScores sent you. Now let's get back to the video, man.
And now for the draft content, y'all. Again, we got the 2025 matters out of the way. You know, we handled business real quick. Now it's time for the fun draft content. Well, like you see on the screen right now, the Commanders currently have the 7th pick in the NFL draft. Now, granted, the Raiders and the Cowboys play tonight, so, you know, that's not going to necessarily affect the Commanders. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, if somehow the Raiders beat the Cowboys, and by the time most of y'all are watching this, that game probably will already be over. A lot of y'all are going to be watching this tomorrow, as in Tuesday, November 18th. So by then, you'll know what the conclusion of that game is. If somehow the Raiders beat the Cowboys, maybe we do move up to the 6th pick, but maybe we still stay at the 7th pick overall. But if the Raiders lose, we just stay with the 7th pick. But either way, as of right now, before this Cowboys and Raiders game tonight, because I'm recording this right now, it's 8:20 p.m. The game's actually about to start real soon. We have the 7th pick in the NFL draft. And at worst, no matter what happens in this Raiders and Cowboys game, at worst, we'll have the 7th pick, as far as we can't fall any further than that. But if you look on the screen right now again, shouts out to Seth Walder. He provided the draft slot projections from FPI. And as of right now, top 10 pick, we have an 83.5% chance to at least pick in the top 10. Just based off of our opponent's schedule, our future opponents and things like that, how good we look right now, especially with all of the injuries. It's a lot of calculations going into this, and they're predicting at worst, we have nearly 84% of at least having a top 10 pick, which does make me happy, to be honest with you. And then top 5, even though we're currently at 7th, they feel like we have nearly a 34% chance of ending up with a top 5 pick. You know how monumental that would be for us? We're going to talk about it real soon, but like that's like a trade back scenario, to where if you somehow end up with a top 5 pick, say 4 or 5, you could trade back to like 7 or 8. And you could end up getting one of those picks that you gave away from Laramie Tunsil. Because right now we don't have a 2nd or a 4th. I'm not looking at the draft chart right now to know exactly what you could get from trading back that little bit. But maybe you could get a 2nd round pick in return for that. And now you're picking in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round. Then you skip the 4th and then you come back to 5th. 2 6th round picks, I believe we have, and then a 7th. But either way, man, I mean, the higher you pick, the better off you are. Because even if you just plan on trading back, now you're picking where you originally would have picked from a few weeks, you know, if you had less losses, and now you just gained an extra pick in return. So either way, though, picking top 5 would be amazing. Because even if you don't trade back, the talent that's available is ridiculous. Again, we're going to dive into that. But we also have a 1.6% chance of having the number 1 pick. It's not impossible. It's very unlikely, but it's not impossible. And I can't look at our schedule and tell you who we're going to beat. But the problem is, you got to get the Titans, the Browns, the Jets, the Saints, and the Raiders to win more games. I think it's possible the Giants win more games. I honestly think the Giants will beat us when we play them in a couple of weeks. But I don't know where you're going to find wins for the Raiders, Saints, Jets, Browns, and Titans, bro. So that's the problem. I don't know how you get to the number 1 overall pick when teams like the Titans can't beat anybody. You can lose out for the rest of this season and still not end up with the number 1 overall pick, even being 3-14. Because, I mean, please find the win for the Titans when you look at their schedule. Who knows? Maybe something happens. We'll see. But you got to find wins for those teams in front of you right now. But either way, top 5 would be wonderful, man. But at the very worst, top 10 is also still pretty nice. And, hey, man, luckily for us, some people think this quarterback class may be good enough for like 3 or maybe even 4 of them to go within the top 5 or top 7 picks, which should push down some elite talents at safety, edge rusher, wide receiver, defensive tackle, or maybe even like a really talented running back like a Jeremiah Love that has like some Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson game-changer potential to him if that's the way the Commanders want to go. And I know we have a lot of holes, but luckily for us, we already have two of the top three most valued positions already covered. Like when you're talking about quarterback, edge rusher, and tackle, especially left tackle, those are the three most highly coveted positions in the entire sport. You have quarterback and left tackle already done. I think edge rusher you would consider second and right there in the middle. It's quarterback, then edge rusher, then left tackle. I mean, technically, Dorrance Armstrong was fifth in the NFL in sacks before he got hurt, but we still need some. I would definitely go all in on bringing even more young talent. And then now you have Dorrance Armstrong on one side. You have that really young, talented, the double-digit sack guy right out the gate, maybe like a Reuben Bain, maybe like a Arvell Reese or something like that. And then Jacob Martin rotating in as well. That could be a potentially deadly pass rush. Just go ahead and go all the way in on making sure your edge rusher situation is crazy. Or maybe you go crazy in the offseason to maybe you go back into the Trey Hendrickson sweepstakes or whatever. But either way, man, to already have quarterback and left tackle figured out, that helps your draft focus and what you're going to prioritize in the offseason so much. Because quarterback and left tackle, two of the most valuable positions, and also two of the positions that's like the hardest to find greatness. I think there's more good edge rushers than there are left tackles. So honestly, two of the positions that's the hardest to find really good talent, you have Pro Bowlers there. You have a franchise quarterback in Jaden Daniels and a perennial Pro Bowler in Larry Tunsil, who's been playing like a Pro Bowler and worth every draft pick we gave up. It sucks that we don't have a second and a fourth round pick going into this draft as of right now. Maybe we'll acquire one in some way by the time the draft comes around late April of 2026. But at the very least, two of the hardest things to find in the NFL, you have those covered. So when it comes to the other needs, of course, it's going to be difficult to still, try to fix every hole that you had in one offseason. But man, going in with a franchise quarterback and a franchise left tackle already, and Josh Connolly is getting better every week. I'm telling you, things aren't as bad as they seem. I'm telling you, this team get healthy and we make the right picks and we find a kicker, bro, we could be dangerous. But either way, though, man, I just love the fact that these quarterbacks and these tackles, going back to that, we already have quarterback and both tackles solidified. So with that, those are some of usually the players that get drafted the highest in the draft. That's just good. I mean, that's going to push the talent that we really want down. It's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks and tackles going before we go, whenever we go. And then that's going to leave a ridiculously talented player in one of those other positions that we need against safety, edge rusher, wide receiver, defensive tackle, maybe even running back, just sitting there waiting for us wherever we pick, man. So I'm hoping that, we got to be rooting for quarterbacks and tackles to take up all of the top 5, top 6 picks, because then a difference maker at another position can end up falling to us, man. I mean, like Reuben Bain out of Miami, the edge rusher. I know his arms are really short, but it looks like it doesn't matter. I mean, of course, there's going to be concerns about him coming into the NFL with short arms, but so far from what I've seen in college, him having short arms has not mattered at all. Caleb Downs, generational talent, bro. I mean, literally the best safety I've seen coming out of college since, I don't even know, bro. I like him more than even all of my Georgia guys, like my guys born and raised in Georgia, Kyle Hamilton, and even KJ Bolden, who's currently on the Georgia Bulldogs right now. Malachi Starks is on the Ravens as well. Like all of those guys, these young, recent within like the past 5-7 years of safety talents to come out of the Georgia high school circuit. And I think Caleb Downs is better than all of them. I like him more than Minka. I like him more than Derwin James. So that's a generational talent that may actually fall to you wherever you are. Maybe even if we stay at 7 where we currently are right now, maybe even Caleb Downs makes it to that because safeties aren't as valued highly as tackle or quarterback, or not even edge rusher. And then Arvell Reese. I mean, some people probably view him as a pure off-ball linebacker. I think he's literally Micah Parsons. Just go ahead and put him at edge rusher. Again, with tackles and quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks going, because they're the more highly valued position. Maybe Arvell Reese slides all the way down to like 5, 6, or 7. We'll see. Either way, Peter Woods, maybe. I know a lot of y'all are fans of Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver. He does have a ridiculously high ceiling. I know Carnell Tate has the really high floor. I think his ceiling is a little undersold, though. Like Carnell Tate could end up becoming a really explosive wide receiver, but he's just also one of the safest. Jordan Tyson is the guy with all of the ceiling. He got to get back healthy, though. TJ Parker, I know a lot of people like him as well, an edge rusher from Clemson. Now granted, Peter Woods and TJ Parker have not lived up to the hype that they had coming into this football season, but they're still really talented. Again, Jeremiah Love, bro, arguably, I feel like he's easily the best running back in the country right now, but you could argue that like he could come into the NFL and have the same impact that Jahmyr Gibbs had on the Lions, Bijan Robinson has had on the Falcons, where he can carry an offense. And then again, you have a bunch of quarterbacks, but you also have Mekhi Lemon, the yak god over there at USC, as the wide receiver, man. I mean, there's so many guys we can get into. There are a lot of corners. If you want to go corner, like early first round, I know that Keldrick Folk guy from Auburn, that's another edge rusher. I mean, there's just so many names out there, bro, that all of this talent is just going to keep falling and falling if everybody wants and takes quarterbacks before us, bro. So the higher we draft, the more likely we are to have a potentially generational talent like a Caleb Downs just fall right in our lap. And I don't think you hesitate, bro. I'm not saying he's Sean Taylor, but my main thing is Sean Taylor. Like, I know people try to downplay the safety position. It's supposed to be undervalued. They don't get paid much, even as like veterans that are proven Pro Bowlers and stuff like that. But man, we saw that Sean Taylor, the impact that he had on this team, bro. Like, I firmly believe if he were here today, if he were able to play all the way throughout his NFL career and retire, he would have retired the best safety in NFL history. I'm not saying Caleb Downs is literally that, but he's the best safety I've seen in a long. Again, I got him over Minka, Derwin James, even my boys Malachi Starks and KJ Bolden, even more than Kyle Hamilton, bro. So I'm telling you, if we could end up if we get to a point where both Caleb Downs and RL Reese are available with whatever pick we have, I'm doing backflips. And please, at that point, I wouldn't even be willing to trade back. You got to take one of them, bro. You have to. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you feel about everything discussed video. Just stiff on that like button, stiff on the subscription button, stiff on the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all the content. Really appreciate y'all for supporting the video. If you watched all the way to the end, man, shouts out to my Watch to the End gang, man, for watching all the way. If you can still hear me and see me, man, I salute you and appreciate you personally. Shouts out to all of y'all, man. Shouts out to my late night crew that's going to be watching this late night, even though I'm actually recording this at a reasonable hour right now. But shouts out to the people that still watch these videos, vampire hours, whatever you're doing. Appreciate that. Also, shouts out, of course, to the Noti gang that are on these videos immediately after I release them. Make sure you leave a like and a well. And of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about the first half of the video with the kicker situation. Let me know how you feel about the second half of the video with our draft situation right now. Appreciate y'all. Leave a like and a well. Again, I'm going to catch y'all later. I'm out.